right, guys, welcome to another episode of the C Network. I'm your host, Bo Mayan, and I'm here today with the co-founder of South Sudanese Minds, Aguang Daw. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you could join. I've heard so much great things about you from mutual friends, and this was one of my goals to have you on the show, so I'm so glad it's come true.
Now, I'm happy that we can finally sit down and talk. Just been talking to you on the side a little bit, seeing what you've been doing. Excited to be here, man.
For sure, and I can't wait to talk about South Sudanese Minds because it's kind of similar to what I've been doing here as well.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I always like to start off with the journey and where that started off, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, my journey, it's like most South Sudanese people here within Australia, refugee. So I migrated to Australia in 2003 with 7 members of my family at the time. So yeah.
I love that. And I know you were 7 years old. I was also 7 when I came here. Do you remember anything, or having a big family, is there anything you kind of remember most about the journey or migrating here?
So yeah, with the whole journey, just little bits of memories from it. So we moved from Sudan, at the time, with my mum and the rest of my siblings. Dad was left back home at the time, just figuring out last minute things just before he finally made the move here. He was a teacher back home, so bringing the family to Egypt and then him following us along. So with Egypt, it's very different, very interesting. Me personally, just being so young and everything, really didn't experience the hardship that my parents had to go through. I think most of this you hear as you get older a little bit. But yeah, Egypt was very, very tough. Everyone was working within the family, even my youngest brother at the time too. So my memory was just being left at home a couple of times, just looking after the young ones while all the parents at mum, dad at work, older brother, and 2 of my other brothers too. So I just had the responsibility of babysitting, looking after the kids. Little bit of memory going to school there. I think I did year 1, 2 there.
I love that. This is something that I always think about because, when you're young, there's certain things you miss. You miss hanging out with friends, you miss hanging out with family, you miss, getting up to mischief and, all the hijinks that you get up to. What is the one thing you miss and the feeling of when you were back home?
Definitely the extended family. So much when you come here, most of us came here with just our immediate family. So, your aunties, your cousins, even grandparents, some don't have the luxury of having them here in Australia and that, but just a little bit of memory from them back home and obviously reliving through the stories my parents have told me. Definitely do miss that, that sense of belonging with the whole family as a whole. You can definitely see, it was a struggle coming here and seeing that on our parents so much, that to leave certain relationships back home, certain friendships and all that, definitely has more of a big impact on them compared to me as a kid. Coming here as a kid, get to relearn things again, not missing out on much, but yeah, it definitely impacted the older generation and my parents and that a little bit more so.
Before you're talking about making our family proud and how we have extended family back home and stuff like that. And many people who are born here don't really know the relationship between us and people back home and why we have to do so much for them. Can you talk a little bit about that and what can you give to the kids that are here now who don't understand anything about that?
As I've grown now, understanding the importance of knowing there's family back home that your parents really have to, take care of. And that's, most families can agree with that. It's been a constant thing as soon as we've stepped into the land of privilege, as they call it, Just really understanding why our parents do the certain things that they do, certain sacrifices that they've made. As a kid, going back, just you're quickly assuming your parents don't want the best for you, or why don't I have this compared to your friends and everything like that. But now understanding, our parents just aren't taking care of our family. It's a whole other different network that they're looking after, the extended families. sending money back home, working constantly, double jobs just to provide for the immediate family here and the family back home. I think that's the biggest respect that I'll have for my parents, and forever grateful for them. They don't often hear it a lot that the work that they're doing is being recognized. Yes, I wish I told them as a younger kid then, look, you're doing a great job, keep it up and everything, but now being an older person, it's just really hits you like, wow, them ensuring that their immediate family is well kept, and everyone has something to eat, putting everyone through schools, but also another family that doesn't have that opportunity, them giving back to them. So, with our parents having so much responsibilities with the extended families, I guess that's shaped or made the person who I am right now. As much as things could be going well within your personal lives too, but everyone's going through a struggle of one sort or another, and it's just about giving back when you can. So,
I like that. Before you talked about how you wish you were saying thank you when you were younger. This is going to be the last question, but what are things that we're taking for granted? What are little things that we're not appreciating and saying to our family members and people we love that we should maybe consider more?
So often, looking at parents as parents, instead of recognizing that, these are individuals that have certain feelings and emotions, language barrier, having to go out there working. They have a bad day, but come home, taken of the family. They don't let too much of their outside stresses get to them. Or we wouldn't know as a kid, you're just assuming that everything is good. So really staying in tune with, why your parents are doing the things that they're doing, acknowledging them for the things that they are doing that sometimes we take for granted. Little things as putting all 9 kids through school. The time that we're living in, with the whole recession and all this and everything too, it's hard. You see now as an adult, paying your own bills and everything, you're like, how am I doing this? But your parents have been doing it for X amount of years with 10 plus siblings, holding down a big family too. Just these little things that we've taken for granted. Now you look back, you're like, there's no word for thank yous, or there's not enough thank yous just to thank them for what they've done. So
I never understood until now, but I'm always turning off the lights and tell my little brother, turn off the lights, because now I understand.
Literally, yeah.
But I didn't. He's always turning it on like, man, you have to listen to this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm becoming an old man or not, but that's something that I'm starting to realize and appreciate. And my mom's strength and her determination to stay focused and strong and not to bring whatever happened outside to the house is something that I'm very grateful for now, and I'm so glad that I appreciate now, and I hope for anyone watching who's younger to also appreciate their family and the work they've been doing, and to understand why they can't have this and why they can't have that. But, well, there you go, guys. We're going to go on a quick break, so stay tuned to hear more of Aguang's story. All right, guys, welcome back. If you've joined, I'm your host, Bolman, and I'm here with Aguang Daw. So I just want to, touch on a little bit more about teenage life and high school and what that was like. I really want to know about that, because there's so many people who don't know the struggles of being the first immigrant family, coming in to a world that was so different. I want to learn how you dealt with it, because some of the things might be going that you went through might still be happening today in school and stuff like that. So I want to know a little bit about things that you went through, the positive and the negatives, and how you overcame that.
Yeah, so, with high school, definitely did have its challenges. Just trying to navigate, talking about back in high school now, just trying to navigate what you really wanted to do. Guess having that responsibility already on your shoulder that you really have to succeed, get a good education, and so forth, choose a good career in that. And didn't really help with my old man being a teacher, so the pressure was immense there in that sense. But, really developed really good friendships, learned a lot from different individuals and everything. Negative part about it, just the unknown, not having all the answers. Necessarily sometimes being a kid from a refugee background, you don't don't have the sources to go or seek for your information here and there. You're really left to battle out your own journeys by yourself. I'm blessed to have older siblings that I've seen them pave the way. So I guess I was just trying to walk through their certain footsteps. You know, my brother did this, my sister did that, and so on. So it was more of a, not so much of a competition, but you had that guidance of older siblings.
What I want to talk about as well is, it could be common, it was common for me at one point where I didn't appreciate being where I was from. Actually, I was running away from where I was from. Maybe, obviously because of the media and what they were portraying about my people, about our people. So at one point, it's hard to say, but I'm glad I could say it now, but I wanted to run away from my culture at one point. I didn't want to be where I was from. Were you ever at that point? And if so, how did you overcome that?
You know, with that, you really get obviously the peer pressure of, you know, wanting to fit in. That was the big thing as a child, picking up certain things could not be in your interest, but just to really fit in. We don't really realize, you know, what we're doing, ignoring our culture, or I'm not going to this community event, I really want to go hang out with my friends and all that. I think just the eagerness to learn certain new experiences and everything kind of left me and my culture sort of in the dark, not really paying attention of who I am as a person, what it means to be South Sudanese, and that. I think I was really disconnected from that throughout my high school years. You know, just due to the fact, obviously, you're a minority in most places that you go and everything, and just the certain experiences that you've had, positive or negative too. But you know, the older that I've grown now, just having appreciating my culture and my people, where we really come from. So
I love that. If you could somehow go back to 15-year-old Aguang, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't relax your hair, don't straighten it, you know. Big part of that too, you know, wanting to fit in. Yeah, straighten my hair at the time, had a little fringe going. If I could go back, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you actually doing? So.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah. So when did you come to the realization it was like, man, like, I'm just happy to be who I am?
Yeah, I would say, just, you know, straight after finishing year 12, you don't have that luxury of seeing the same people every day, the same environment, same group of friends. So not saying really forced me, but that started the conversation within myself. Seeking now, you know, first year of uni and everything, you're not restricted to a certain timeline and everything, but now it's up to your old friends, everyone's busy with their lives, and now we're in the big world. So I think them first couple of years for me was knowledge seeking, okay? Who's my people? You know, hanging around with, if you see now my groups of friends completely changed throughout the years. Not saying it's a black and white thing, but just positive attracts positive. And knowing our people, the sense of community that they've really embedded from me from a young age, and continuing to live through that. Like, our culture is a beautiful thing. There's new thing you can always learn about it, and just me personally, it's just been a positive journey, like reconnecting with my community, knowing my people. So
I love that. You sound very mature and wise now. What 3 words would you now describe yourself?
Young, tall, and sexy. No. Just very, very, very optimistic. Just eager to continue learning. Life's a big learning curve for all of us, and open to certain conversations. You know, just wanting to get involved more about wanting to get more involved within the community. You know, unfortunately, sometimes you see, you know, the negative portrayal of our people and everything. I can't allow that. Sitting back, yes, I might have had beautiful experiences and certain positive experiences with the wider community and all that, but you know, at the end of the day, I really have a strong community sense. I wouldn't be where I am today without the individuals that look like me, which is community. As you grow older, you realize that your majority community could be immediate, but the wider community has had a lot to do with your upbringing and who you are as a person, and just remembering that and just giving back to the community for what they've done for you. So sometimes sitting down, seeing all these negative things being portrayed within the media, and personally mental health being a big thing. I've been fortunate enough to not say have an easy life, but I'm grateful for the experiences that I've been through, and how it's shaped me as a person, and seeing these certain areas that are affecting other individuals, seeing where can I help there, introducing what I do, talking about mental health. It's another area that's so often looked down upon or not talked about, because everyone does deserve a chance to be happy and relive life and see it in a different lens. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Another question I want to ask before we wrap this up is, when we first came to Australia, there wasn't people that looked like us that were here before us. There were some, obviously, but not for a lot of people. Now there are people that we can look up to, and there's kids that are born in Australia now, they can look up to us, people that are older than us. What is something that you wish you knew back then that you could give to the kids now as an advice?
You don't have to have it all figured out. It's a big thing. Miracles work in mysterious ways. Not having the pressure of just live your life as a kid, as it is. Sometimes, coming from a South Sudanese background, we don't have the luxury like other kids who just purely be kids. Just knowing that there's certain individuals now that, can go to for certain answers that we really didn't have there, that you had to just go through by yourself. So definitely just taking the time in and just being open to certain experiences and all that. So.
All right, guys, there you go. We're going to go for another quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back. If you just joined, I'm your host, Bowman, and I'm here with Aguang Daw. So, I know you're also a co-founder of South Sudanese Minds. I want to talk a little bit about that and how that started.
Yeah, so South Sudanese Minds started back in 2019, just when this new thing called COVID started. So most of our work was introduced online. So we partnered with an organisation called TAXI, the Australian Centre for Social Innovation, and with them they conduct certain researches within the wider Australian community, and one of their target audiences was the South Sudanese community, and specifically the mental health aspect part. Just finding out there's certain services out there that really aren't catered to us. So this inspired us and a group of other communities to come together really and come up with certain foundations to start South Sudanese Minds.
I love that. And what do you guys do, and how do you guys help people with services, and how do you guys provide those kind of services?
Yeah, so we have 3 programs that we're currently running. So artist to artist. So with artist to artist, we focus on various artists within the South Sudanese community. So the tricky thing that we really wanted to highlight was, how do we deliver what mental health is? When people talk about mental health, it's a scary thing sometimes. So just finding certain creative ways to introduce that conversation, to bring it up. And with artist to artist is tapping into various artists within the South Sudanese community, whether successful or not, or either big names or small artists, is just certain people having an impact within the community and reaching out to certain panel members, coming together and then starting the conversation from there. So with them, we organise a panel where they come, talk about their experiences, what they do, and how mental health has shaped them, or what mental health means to them. So they share a little bit about certain techniques that have worked with them in coping with certain life events that have happened. Just even as a simple thing as self-care routine. Many people don't realise having a good, really self-care routine just ensures your well-being, just to tackle certain areas within your life. So that's one of our programs, and conversations between generations. So with that, conversation between generations aims to target the older generation within our community and linking it in with the younger generations. Too often we find that, parents within our community, not pointing out fingers or anyone, but this was one of the main aspects, knowing that parents really don't have don't have that environment or don't have that safe space in order to talk to their kids about underlying issues, or kids not feeling comfortable to talk to their parents about certain problems that they're facing. Too oftenly, when we come to Australia, we're targeted with, education, get a good job, and so on. But with that whole pathway, there's certain aspects that affect our everyday life, whether it be in the school system, work. All these factors affect our mental health as in general. So just stripping all that back and trying to figure out where it started from. So
I like that. That's very important. And I know so many people have different ways to deal with down days and when they're feeling a little bit, not the best. And everyone has different ways to deal with it. What are some ways that you deal when you have those days?
Yeah, so as I said, self-care routine is a big thing these days. Not too many, when it comes to mental health and all that, we think that, yes, there's different aspects affecting us and all that, but it could honestly be as simple as not enough exercise, not having the right diet and all that. Just tackling these little things that are so often left unchecked can affect our mental health as a whole. So me personally, I'm involved with sports a lot, quite active. Football keeps me grounded, keeps my mind clear. Just having a solid foundation of friends that you can go out to, that you can trust with, certain information that you want to share just to vent out and everything. Just having that solid foundation of people that you can really talk to when you're feeling down. I think that's a really, so oftenly we're left in the dark when it comes to mental health and not knowing who to approach. It's a big taboo topic within our community too. So just showing people that, hey, look, this guy here is, talking about mental health. He's a bloke from within my community too, because guys were so always told to suppress our emotions, bottle everything in, but seeing certain individuals talking about it, mental health, sharing the awareness of it, really helps a person that's battling or going through it really open up and feel comfortable to share what they're going through. So
I love that. This is going to be another question to make you think, but I really just want to know, what or when was the best day of your life?
My best day of my life. I've had a lot of good moments within my life that I'm grateful for. Best moment will probably my sister's wedding, actually.
I love that. That's beautiful.
So with that being said, with my sister's wedding, I think that was the first time, wedding within our immediate family. Just seeing the different people that it brought together. That day really showed me this sense of what community meant, just to share something so special, which was my sister's wedding, and that's
I love that. I'm so glad you came to join us. It's been such a great conversation. I've learned so much from you, and it's a dream come true. And I usually end the conversation with asking our guests what seed they're here to plant, and I'm very curious to hear what you're here to plant.
Start the conversation. You don't have to be a mental health advocate or work in the professional area to advise someone or be there for someone that's going through it. Checking up on your friends. So oftenly we show out for our friends in their good times, but also acknowledging that bad times will come and just being there for them too. So, yeah.
I love that, man. It's a blessing. Thank you so much for joining once again. I had so much fun, and this has been such a fun episode. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
For sure. Well, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And thank you so much for watching this far. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care.